Switching over here to take a look. Alright. Making sure the connection's good on this end. And we're live. Welcome to Sonic. It's been a hot minute. I have a new computer that theoretically should run this game a lot better than my old one did, and like be able to stream it and stuff without it being an issue.
It's gonna be great.
Hi, Lizzie.
Hello, I'm Lizzie.
So last time on Sonic, I think I played Sonic Chaos on the Sega Master System, and we finally left 1993, which was like the year of Sonic. Sonic 3 didn't come out that year, but everything else came out that year. Sonic CD came out that year. Sonic Spinball came out that year. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine came out that year. Sonic Chaos came out that year. 2 separate Sonic TV shows came out that year. It was the year of Sonic.
And now it is no longer the year of Sonic?
Now it is 1994. It is the year of, in my opinion, one of, if not the best Sonic game ever made, which we are about to play today, in its lovingly fan remastered and recreated form. And that is, of course, finally, the direct sequel to Sonic 2, Sonic 3!
Woo! Does it have Mighty in it?
Not this one.
Sorry.
But Mighty will show up again.
Oh my god, that's so exciting.
Kind of soon, actually. But anyway.
That's even more exciting.
So, this is Sonic 3. I'm going to give you the really quick rundown here, because I don't think you were here last time when I did this explanation, right?
I was not.
Okay, so Sonic 3 was originally thought of... They at first thought they would make it like a 3D game, but they gave up on that pretty quickly. But that 3D model of Sonic on the title screen is like from that original idea.
I love it.
We'll start with this file. This is the first Sonic game to have built-in save feature, which is really cool.
Ooh.
It was done by Sega Technical Institute, who did Sonic 2. So it was a partially Japanese, partially American team. Their initial goal was to meet, the autumn 1993 deadline, right? Basically, like Sonic 2 had met the previous year. But their plans and hopes for the game got way too big for their britches. And at a certain point, Sega had figured out a McDonald's promotion, which was set to go in February of 1994. Which meant that was the last possible moment that Sonic 3 could be released. And they were like 2/3 of the way through development, where they were like, there's no way we can finish this in time for February 1994. So what they decided to do was to split the game in half. And actually, I can demonstrate this for you. Just one moment.
Oh.
Okay, so they released the first half as Sonic the Hedgehog 3 for the Sega Genesis in February 1994 on time. This is the first 6 zones of the game. Then, in the autumn of 1994, they released Sonic and Knuckles, which is the second half of the game, basically. And the first time that you could play as Knuckles, the new character that got introduced in this game.
Kim.
We saw in Origins, the Sonic Origins cutscene, that after the Death Egg fell to Earth at the end of Sonic 2, it lands on top of this floating island called Angel Island and like pushes it down into the ocean.
Oh.
And there, Dr. Eggman / Robotnik finds Knuckles the Echidna, the last of the Echidnas, who is guarding the Master Emerald, which is this huge, powerful Chaos Emerald, basically. And he resides on Angel Island and guards this thing. Knuckles doesn't know people very well because he's lived a completely lonely life. So this is like one of his first encounters with any other person, basically. And Eggman tells him about these about his good intentions for the world and this evil hedgehog and two-tailed fox who have been trying to stop him. And so he tricks Knuckles basically into being like, and he stole the 7 Chaos Emeralds from me, so you have to get them back. And so Knuckles, and so Eggman teams up with Knuckles against Sonic and Tails, right? Anyway, the really cool part is, so in this one you can only play as Sonic and Tails, and this one you can play as Knuckles for the first time. But you may have noticed this little thing. It doesn't look like your typical Genesis cartridge because we got lock-on technology. If you put your Sonic 3 on top of your Sonic and Knuckles and put this into your Genesis, you can play the entire game in sequence as originally intended with 8 save slots and all 3 characters.
Whoa. You can be Knuckles the whole time.
Yes. And that is the fabled Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Oh my god.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles is, I think, one of the best 2D platformers ever made. One of the best games in the series. And this is the fan-made recreation of it, Sonic 3 Angel Island Revisited. One other fun little tidbit about the lore of this game. This game has 2 soundtracks. One soundtrack that was composed by the Sega Sound team internally because Masato Nakamura, the original composer of Sonic 1 and 2, wanted too much money, basically, to come back.
So valid.
And the second team was assembled by Michael Jackson and his songwriting team. They thought it would be a major...
Did that happen?
Michael Jackson was a huge Sega/Sonic fan. Sega had already licensed out Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, the movie that he made, to turn into a Genesis game. And so Michael Jackson already had a very close relationship with Sega as a company. And he was like in the middle of touring and he visited the Sega of America office in, I think, San Francisco. And they were like, he was like, this is cool. Do you need a composer for the next Sonic game? And they're like, yes. And so Michael Jackson brought his team on board. And by all accounts, he only really wrote one song himself. The rest of his team did everything else. And then 2 things happened in very quick succession. First, or actually we don't know which order this happened, but one, they got back the tracks after like they had been put into the Genesis like sound chip. And Michael was not happy with the quality of the music as it was coming through the Genesis sound chip. And so he asked that his name be left off of the credits.
Oh, boo.
But if you look at the credits, all of his sound team is there. Brad Buxer, Sirocco Jones, Daryl Ross, Doug Grigsby III, like they're all credited. So that's one.
I'd want to be credited in a Sonic game.
That's one thing that happened. The second thing that happened was that this is when the Michael Jackson sex abuse scandals started coming up.
Oh.
And so Roger Hector, who was one of the leaders of Sega of America, basically decreed, like, we gotta cut his music from the game.
Yeah.
And that's mostly what happened, except for some reason, like, 8 tracks from Michael Jackson's original team are still in the game.
That's so interesting. I wonder...
And we can tell which tracks are which, because the Michael Jackson team tracks were replaced with completely different compositions for the PC port in 1998 for seemingly no reason. And those new tracks didn't sound any good because they were like really bad MIDI like transfers of the Genesis tracks. So no one really knew what...
Quality jump is just like, whoa.
Yeah, and they were completely different songs, and no one really knew what was going on. Basically until 2019, when a prototype of Sonic 3 leaked, and it was revealed that those tracks that were in that PC port were the original versions of the songs written by the Sega Sound team that got replaced by Michael Jackson's tracks in the final version of the game.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is wild. Now, basically, since this all came to light, since like Michael Jackson and his team's involvement has come to life in Sonic 3, Sonic 3 stopped being re-released for like 10 years.
Oh my god.
Because probably preemptively by Sega, because there was probably some issues with contracts that, you know, weren't properly figured out.
Mhm.
So when Sonic 3 was included in Sonic Origins last year, it was a big deal because it was the first time that Sonic 3 had been re-released in like a decade, and it was like newly remastered and everything. But the Michael Jackson tracks are gone and replaced with the old beta tracks. But there's a catch. They are much worse versions of the beta tracks than the ones from the prototype that leaked. So it was this monkey paw situation where it's like, I would be okay with Sonic 3 being re-released if it was like these prototype tracks. And then it did, but they were so much worse.
like the just the sound quality.
Yeah, sound quality was terrible. The arrangements were terrible. They must have been like older arrangements than the ones that were in the prototype that leaked. But for some reason, those are the ones Sega used. It just like boggles the mind. Anyway, all that being said, we're going to play a version of the game that is kind of based on the Origins version, that has some of the prototype tracks, but also some of the Michael Jackson tracks. because in this version, in Angel Island Revisited, they let you like pick and choose stuff, right? Okay. I think that's pretty much all the backstory. If you're ready to get going.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So,
It's Sonic time.
picking up from the events of Sonic 2, Sonic and Tails are heading to Angel Island. Sonic still got all the Chaos Emeralds, so he's going off to investigate. Knuckles jumps out of the ground, steals the emeralds, and runs away. Welcome to Angel Island Zone, Act 1. So, the Knuckles theme there was a Michael Jackson track that was used in Sonic 3 alone, basically. Okay. So Sonic in this game has a new move, the Insta Shield, which you use by tapping the jump button, which basically gives you like a frame of invincibility when fighting enemies.
Ooh.
Boom. Like that. I also, because Sonic 3 Air gives you this option, I also added the Super Peel Out from Sonic CD and the Drop Dash from a later game called Sonic Mania. So I'm just going to be zipping all over the place and doing all kinds of cool stuff.
He's so fast. Look at him go.
These are the special stages. Get blue spheres. Here's where some of that 3D idea went.
Ooh.
Unlike the Sonic 2 special stages, which I hate, I love the Sonic 3 special stages. Blue spheres, because I just know these levels so well.
Mm-hmm.
The idea, if you can't tell, is you gotta collect all the blue spheres, and if you make a loop around some blue spheres, like that, they all turn into rings. And, like, I could collect all the rings, and if you do, you get, like, a bonus. But, like, that's kind of a waste of time, so I'm not going to do that. Boom. There's our first emerald already. I'm going to collect the Chaos Emeralds really fast in Sonic 3. This is also a new level ending jingle. By Jun Senui, which becomes the standard Sonic level end jingle for most games going forward.
Iconic.
Here's the Sonic 3 invincibility theme. Ooh, something else new in this game. Elemental shields. So you'll see this when I leave invincibility mode. But this game introduces 3 different elemental shields. Whee! So I have the bubble shield now. If I press A, I can bounce in a bubble. Like that. It protects me from floating projectiles and also from drowning.
Well, that's handy.
Oh no! Eggman's drones are coming, and now the island is on fire. Whoops.
Oh my god, eco-terrorism.
Also, if you couldn't tell, that mini boss theme is a Michael Jackson composition.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So in this one, the special stages are you get to them by finding these big rings hidden all throughout the levels, as opposed to like getting 50 rings and going to the end. Yeah. Also, this song is really good. It wasn't originally written for Sonic 3. It was written for a puzzle game called Sega Sonic Bros. that never actually got like a full release. It was like test marketed, and then never came out.
Does it exist though? Like, can you play it?
I think so. Yeah, I think there's the original like ROM is available online.
Nice.
But it's a good track. And Sega's, Masato Nakamura is a good composer. Clearly, he has a very big like pop music pedigree. But Sega's internal sound team is just incredible too. Alrighty. So the big issue last time with the last stream was on my old computer, it could not handle running Blue Spheres at the same time as streaming it on OBS. Now I don't seem to have that issue, which is very nice.
That's very good.
Okay.
The people have to see. They must know.
Whoops. Just a moment. Okay, I am back. Woo! Okay, so a few other things you can do in this game for the first time. So we have Tails following me, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can do this, and then you can control Tails' flight for the second player manually with one controller.
Oh my god.
So you can have Tails like fly you up the level and take you to new areas.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I love Tails.
Tails is cool.
He's just a little guy.
He sure is. Tails can also swim, but he can't carry Sonic while he's swimming.
That's fair.
You know what? That's valid.
That's so valid of him.
Yes. Okay. I gotta show you the best elemental shield, though. I'm just kind of taking it slow here to show you some of these cool parts. Okay. This is the lightning shield. It gives you a double jump. It protects you from electric attacks and projectiles, and it magnetically draws rings to you.
Ooh.
Like so. It's by far the best one. But I'm going to show you this too, because this is the last one, the fire shield. It makes you go forward in a big fiery ball, and it protects you from fire attacks.
Nice.
Here's the first mini-boss. It's very easy to beat, but I'm going to show you that fire can't hurt me. And I want to hear this theme a little bit. Knuckles' theme in Sonic 3 is kind of like a stripped-down version of this. This mini-boss theme gets replaced in Sonic and Knuckles, and which was actually the Sonic and Knuckles version, is the prototype mini-boss music from Sega's sound team. So we'll hear that in the second half.
Oh my gosh, Sonic got through.
Sonic got through Act 1. And the second act picks up right where we left off.
Whoa.
And for the first time, we're getting to hear... Actually, well, let's do a special stage first. I was going to say, first time we get to hear the Act 2 theme as a remix of the Act 1 theme. So another tradition starting in Sonic 3. Besides all these multiple paths, besides, like, going directly from one act to the next, like, all in one big map, the music gets remixed and changes, going from one act to the next. And the remixes in Sonic 3 are really, really smart and really, really cool. Because, like, the Act 1s are always a bop, and then you get to Act 2, and it just, like, builds on itself in such, like, an incredibly masterful way, where it's just, like, the whole world of the song opens up.
Like its own little story.
100%. Which is actually an exception. You can also tell which tracks are Michael Jackson tracks because their Act 2 remixes are literally just the same tracks, but like with some like percussion changed around. So those were a lot less effort. But the Sega Sound Team Act 2 remixes are really something.
You got a Chaos Emerald.
Yeah, so that's number 3 of 7. So Angel Island Act 2, you can hear it's the same track, but it's in minor. Da-da-da-da.
We love when that happens.
Yes, because now everything's sad.
Everything is on fire and bad.
Exactly. This tropical paradise has now been, you know, Eggman's robots.
Eggman.
It's been Eggman. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, look, it's a switch. Should drop the water. Ooh. There's one other thing. There's one other like major addition in this that I still need to show off. Whee! We're actually gonna go this way because here's another ring. Aha.
More spheres.
In the prototype, get blue spheres is translated get blue balls. I wonder why they changed it.
Oh no.
I did it. No! No!
No.
Yes, if you touch the red spheres, the special stage ends. Well, that's fine. I've got plenty of other chances to get it, or it's not. I won't be able to get it as early as I usually do, but I'll still get it.
We can salvage the run.
Yes. You may have noticed, you know, this is how we get the Chaos Emeralds, but when I cross a checkpoint, there's still the little spinny stars, like in Sonic 2. So the question becomes, what happens when you go into those spinny stars? Let's find out.
I don't know.
Bonus stage!
Ooh.
This is the gumball machine. So each of those is a different, like gives you a different thing. Like that gave me a bubble shield. This will give me rings, more rings, and then eventually you sort of reach the bottom, you run out of these, and then, oh, okay, cool. There's 2 other different kinds of bonus stages too, which I'll show off when we get to them. And whichever stage you go to depends on how many rings you get when you cross the thing. It's like a different amount for like 20, 30, and 50.
Gotcha.
Oh no, we're about to
That's
get
not
bombed.
good. Oh my god.
It's okay, if you just hold right, you're fine. But cinematic, you know? It's a
Scary.
It's a story. Now this is cinema. Ooh.
Every frame is a painting.
You know, this is technically very impressive for the Genesis. And here's our Robotnik boss.
There he is.
He keeps disappearing behind the waterfall, but his fire attacks are nothing on me. Where's the capsule? Oh, there it is.
Tails was not very helpful.
Now we've got floating capsules, too. Alright. Like in Sonic 2, each of the main levels here have 2 acts. But here comes Knuckles.
It's him.
Whack. Whee!
Oh my god.
And now we're dropping down into a zone that there have been arguments for decades about how to pronounce it. Because it's spelled Hydrocity.
Oh, it's like the Megamind thing.
100%. Because it's spelled as if it's Hydro City, but it's one
Stay
word.
out of Hydrocity.
And so the
That's
Hydro
so
City, the Hydro City Hydrocity debate will go on forever. I am personally of the Hydrocity persuasion, but I recognize both pronunciations as valid, even though the Hydro City folks are wrong. No, I like.
In honor of you and our friendship, I will say Hydrocity.
I genuinely, I don't care. In fact, I actually think there is actually more evidence that supports that it's meant to be Hydro City. But like, do you see a city?
Oh, I mean, there's bricks.
Also, like the Hydrocity music tracks are like some of Sega Sound Team's like absolute finest work. Like Act 1 is good, but Act 2, a whole nother level. For sure. Cool. Let's take. Here's bonus stage number 2.
Oh.
I actually don't remember what it's called. Glowing Spheres, I think is what it's called. Yeah.
That would make sense. That's like, pinball. Pinball. That's what it's called.
Yes. There's always one path up. And then once you get to the top, there's always like a thing coming from the bottom that if it hits you, it's like the round instantly ends. But if you get to the top, you get to keep all of your everything that you got.
Nice. Stakes go up the higher you get.
Yeah. Whoops. We reached the top. Whee! All right. And see, the fire shield disappears when you go in water, right? Same thing with the electric shield. Like, you know, each of the shields has a environmental weakness. So now I don't need these things because this will keep me, you know, safe underwater. Whoops. Never mind. Whee!
Good while it lasted.
Ride these little conveyor thingies. Okay. Alright. Take 2. It also helps with the timing to know that, like, you can only turn on the corner, like, of the checkered floor. But you can also, like, buffer your inputs a little. So you can like turn just before you hit it, and you'll turn like with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not, you don't have to get the exact timing down.
That sounds like it would be so difficult if it had to be exact.
Oh yeah. Like you couldn't, the Genesis would not be able to handle that.
No.
There we go. Alright. That's how it's supposed to go. Number 4. You might also notice there's like a little like graphic next to the like Act 1 and Act 2 thing that represents each of the zones. That's a unique thing that's from like the beta. In the final game, it's all like the tropical trees from Angel Island. But I like the fact that they all used to have like their own unique thing. So that's one of the mods I put in here.
Nice.
Uh-oh. All my rings are gone. Good thing I took out the boss quickly. Or mini-boss. And yeah, that's another thing. Now there are mini-bosses for each of the Act 1s. In addition to the main boss at the end of Act 2.
See?
Okay, here we go.
Almost got all the emeralds.
The Act 2 theme. Oh, shush. This part.
Whoa. Water slide.
You can see how differently the levels are designed in Sonic 3 and Knuckles than even it was in like Sonic 1 or 2 or CD.
Mm-hmm.
But like this to me is the pinnacle of classic Sonic level design. Like this is how it should be. This is the apotheosis of this design principle. Which kind of stinks because a lot of like the 2D throwback Sonic games that got released were very much based on Sonic 1 and 2, which were a lot less interesting of levels designs than Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you know?
Right.
It wasn't until literally like Sonic Mania, I would say, that there was actually a new 2D Sonic game in the 3 and Knuckles style of level design. And that's part of why Sonic Mania is also one of the best Sonic games ever made. And you know, what I'm saying is not like a controversial or even like a uniquely personal opinion. As Sonic fans do have lots of uniquely personal opinions. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is universally acclaimed.
It's like the UI of it. So I was like, and I have not played any Sonic games, so I feel like that says something.
Yeah. I think Sonic 2 is more popular because it existed at a time in which Sonic had a slightly bigger cultural footprint than he did in, like, when Sonic 3 came out in 1994. Like, Sonic 2 represents, like, the golden age of Sonic's popularity, and this is, like, a little bit after that. So it's not as, like, well-loved or remembered, but it is far better.
It's for the true fans, the ones who stuck through.
For sure. I mean, Sonic 3 wasn't unpopular. It's just, like, Sonic 2 was the best-selling game on the Genesis, you know? Like, it doesn't... It was... You know.
It was a thing.
It's like comparing, I guess a good comparison would be, like, Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine. If that makes sense.
I have not played any Mario games.
It's okay, that'll be the next one.
Okay. I'm so uncultured.
I'm joking. Unless, I mean, I do have all the Mario games, but you know, whatever. Mario games tend to be a lot longer than Sonic games. Whoops. I missed the checkpoint. Oh wait, actually, hold on. Can I? This isn't the exact spot I'm thinking of, but I do want to take the shortcut because I don't like having to go the other way.
I need to do one slide.
Yes.
Let him go.
Okay, this is where I'm thinking of. All right, Tails. Time for you to drop down and thank you. No.
I love how he spins.
I know. Whee. Okay, Tails. Take me up. What the? Hello?
Tails. He's doing his best.
Tails. Okay. Here we go. Thank you. Now, typically, this is where I would get the last Chaos Emerald. But I'm gonna have to go to one more after this, I think.
Are you gonna go Supersonic?
Yes. Usually, in vanilla Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles, it just plays the invincibility theme, like, on repeat when you get Sonic, when you play a Supersonic. And that gets really grating after a while. Like, there isn't a special Supersonic theme. In Sonic Origins, Jun Senoi, one of the original composers who's, like, still around doing Sonic games, composed a new super theme for Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Except, Jun Senoi, when he tries to write music in the Genesis style, it doesn't sound good. Because, like, the instruments don't match any, like, of the Genesis Sonic games, and it kind of just sounds like a cat meowing.
That's rough. I want to hear that.
I could play it later. It's not, I mean, it's not a bad composition, it just doesn't sound right.
Good.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a song from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It sounds like a song from Sonic 4. Which is a game we'll get to. Which, you know,
there it
is not beloved. We'll put it that way.
Oh.
But, yeah. So, instead, we're just going to I just turned on normal level theme music whenever Supersonic plays. So we'll just listen to the awesome music while Supersonic is on screen.
Ah! Oh my god, him.
Alright, let's fight the boss. So this boss is interesting. He'll like drop down on the ground here and try to like suck you up. And then once the propellers stop, you can use this little like pedestal to hit him. And then he drops these bombs where you can like use them to boost yourself up. Like so, to hit him. Because Tails is invincible, you can abuse like the Tails flight mechanic here with your controller to like get Tails to like fly into, yeah, like that. I like the little ending poses too that they give Sonic and Tails here. Next, we'll move to the
fully underwater.
Whee! And zone transitions, right? We're transitioning from one zone to the next with like something happening. Welcome to Marble Garden.
I see.
Some ancient ruins. People thought this might have been a Michael Jackson track for a while because it kind of like has the same like chord progression as Thriller, but no. This was a Sega Sound Team composition. Gotta say, it's probably one of the weaker tracks in the game, but like it's fine.
Does it not get approval from Mr. Link Smash?
No, it's not. It's not disapproval. It's just there are better tracks. Most tracks in the game are better. It's fine. Now this one I always have trouble with because it's like a maze. I think if I go this way, because there's not that many blue spheres, but like the ones you do have to collect are kind of scattered in like weird corners that like you can keep like missing very easily.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Alright, now it always comes down to one of these sets, because there's always these two sets of like 4 that are just kind of somewhere in this weird like off somewhere corner of the map. There they are.
It wasn't so bad.
Thankfully I found them very quickly. And here's the 7th and final Chaos Emerald.
It's time.
Sonic got all Chaos Emeralds. Now Sonic can be Supersonic.
Oh my god, he's going supersonic.
I have 49 rings. 1 ring less than needed. Okay. Oh. Okay, he's gone. Let's go super. Whee! So the same rules with Supersonic apply in this game than in Sonic 2, which is you can still drown, you can still be crushed, but otherwise you are invincible, and you move like really fast. But also, you lose 1 ring a second.
So you have to be collecting them.
Yes. And if you get to 0 rings, you turn back into regular Sonic, which is fine because you can always collect more rings. Except if you're in like a boss battle or something, and then you just can't get hit or you die. You know.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
So, you know, usually, once you turn Supersonic, you are stuck as Supersonic until the end of the level, until you run out of rings, etc. But I turned on a quality of life thing that you can do in Sonic 3 Air, which is cancel Supersonic. You just press a button to turn off Supersonic. And then, you know, you can turn back into Supersonic if you have over 50 rings, right? There's these like weird ass spinny tops here, which is like they're kind of clunky if you don't know how they work. The most OP is Supersonic with the electric shield, because even though you can't see the shield, the effects like still work. So here Supersonic is just like going through the level, and then all the rings just like rubber band to him. Yes.
He's too powerful.
Nothing can stop him except being crushed. Here's the mini boss. I was gonna say, could I take out the mini boss in 1 hit? In 1 cycle? Probably not. But I can in 2. Another shield, don't mind if I do. Oh yeah, you can push around the sign before it hits the ground. That's another fun one. See how long you can last. Here's Act 2, which adds some different mechanics here, like this little like pull ring. Ooh. The boss already? Nope, he just shows up for a little bit and then goes away. But he is messing around with the level and making it all move. I could go up that way, but I won't. Set the spinny top going. Whoops. Now I gotta get this spinny top in order to... destroy that. Those things can crush you very easily, so you gotta be careful. Whee!
It's one weakness.
Let's go super. With the drop dash and all, like everything else that you can add on to Supersonic in this game, he becomes very, very powerful.
He seems kind of OP.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Whee! Oh yeah, in Sonic Origins they gave him like new Supersonic like new sprites when he's like looking up and around and like hitting like that 3D thing when you just sort of go in that spiral. But I guess they haven't ported those over to Sonic 3 Air yet. Of course, invincibility has no effect because you're already invincible. Ugh. You can kind of tell what I mean, like, in comparison to some of the other tracks, like, this one is a bit less complex, you know?
The bass is very fun, though.
Yeah. It's a pretty simple, you know, funk groove, and then there's not a whole lot. There's just basically just, like, those two sections and not a lot of going all over the place, like in Hydrocity, for example. Alright. Oh, I love doing this thing where you, like, you become oval in the air.
Become oval.
Yes. I have become oval, destroyer of, I don't know. And then there's this whole part where the level starts to crush in on itself, but if you're supersonic, you're fine. Just keep going fast.
Oh my god. He can be crushed.
He can be. But he won't be. I won't let him. I'm gonna be oval again. Hold on.
Oval.
Alright.
Is there benefit to being oval?
It's being a spin dash, but in the air. So yeah, it's pretty good. Oh. Oh no!
Oh my god!
He's destroying all the ruins, and he's getting away! Go, Tails, go! This is really cool, actually, like the way it like flies around like this. And you have to... Here, let me become regular Sonic, so I don't run out of rings. There we go. See, Tails is my friend.
He's red.
Alright, here we go. Carnival Night. So what you're about to hear, in the final game, this was a Michael Jackson track, but what you're about to hear is the prototype version, which is a bop. Welcome to Carnival Night.
This is so intense.
Yeah, there's a lot happening, huh? But it's so fun.
A little carnival. Where's Mo?
Where's Mo?
Yeah, my silly clown boy. Where is he?
True.
This is his natural habitat.
I love all the mechanics of Carnival Night. I think they're so cool. Oh, I forgot I could go super. And I can still
so powerful.
I can still listen to this lovely music. If you run into the special stage rings after you already get all the Chaos Emeralds, then you just get 50 rings instantly. It's really cool.
Oh, nice.
So those barrels, that barrel I was just on top of, is infamous because there's a part in Act 2 that we'll get to where you're basically trapped in a room with a barrel. And the game doesn't tell you how to operate the barrels. And so people would just get stuck and get time overs.
Oh, no.
But I'll show you how to operate it when we get there. Here's the mini boss. I don't know why they chose the Michael Jackson tracks that they did to keep in the game. My guess is they probably, like, these are the Michael Jackson tracks that sound the coolest. And, like, kind of, especially since it's, like, the latter part of Sonic 3's zones that got the Michael Jackson music in them. They're kind of, like, darker and a bit, like, more like you're in the end of the game. As opposed to, like, this, which is, you know, very much not that.
Sonic got through Act 1.
He sure did.
Just so you know.
Act 2, though, this music goes off. That's like one of my favorite parts in the entire Sonic 3 soundtrack, and it's not even in the final game.
Oh my god. We should go to a carnival.
Yes.
Do a field trip.
I love that that's just like your entire aesthetic.
This is the burden that I bear.
It's Knuckles.
Oh my god, it's him.
Whack. He he he. He chuckles. So yes, this is Knuckles' first appearance.
I love him so much.
He's cool. Throwback to when I was playing Ghost. Throwback to when I was playing Ghost Trick with Kate, and we get to the Justice Minister character, and she's like, Idris Elba. Wait, what? What am I? Kirkus Alba is the guy is who she was thinking of, and she said Idris Elba.
I love that. It's him. It's Knuckles.
That's him. An inspired casting choice, I must say.
Honestly, yes. I enjoyed that movie very much.
Have I told you how much I love the fact that Tails' voice in the Sonic movies is Tails' voice actress from the game?
I knew that, and I would imagine that it would delight you a lot.
Yes, because they got, Ben Schwartz and Jim Carrey and, all these big names to play Sonic and Knuckles and Eggman. But there is no better Tails currently working than Colleen O'Shaughnessy. Okay, this is the one. Which is just so freaking awesome. That never happens.
Yeah.
Anyway. So you press up and down. And that's how you make the barrel go. You just press up and down on the D-pad. That's it.
It's like being on a swing set.
Hours of childhood trauma wasted. In Air, they moved that barrel back so it doesn't like instantly crush you when you go at it at high speed. Thank you very much for doing that.
Because Supersonic can be crushed.
That is true. I love that this is just your one takeaway If you take away one thing about this long exploration into the world of Sonic, it's that Super Sonic can be crushed.
Yeah. That's his weakness. That's his kryptonite.
Does Super Sonic have a kryptonite? I mean, in some lore,
Crushed.
in some lores, Sonic is like deathly afraid of drowning.
That would make sense.
Like in Sonic X, for example, he has like an irrational fear of water.
That's like how in Red Dead Redemption they didn't want to program like swimming, and so you just die when you fall in water. But then in Red Dead Redemption 2 they did program in swimming, and so they just like have a throwaway line about how John Marston is just like extremely hydrophobic. If he falls into water, he will just like panic and thrash and drown.
That's fun. Alrighty, so we made it through Carnival Night, and now in the main game we go from here to Ice Cap. But in the original scope of the game, you go from here to the Flying Battery airship. This is originally the second level in Sonic and Knuckles, or in the final game. This is the second level of the second half of the game. But this is where it originally belonged.
Oh, look at him go, like monkey bars.
Here, I'm gonna play through Flying Battery, and then I'm gonna like pause really quick and show you like the other music tracks that like we're not listening to from like these levels coming up.
Okay.
Whoops. I always really liked this level as a kid. I think it's neat.
I like the music.
Sonic franchise be like, I like the music. Like, yep,
Came up
that's
with two things. I like the music. Super Sonic can be crushed.
Yep. Whee! Usually these would hurt me, but I'm super.
You're too powerful.
Oh yeah, in the original game, all of the little buttons here are all the same kind of button, but I added a mod that makes the buttons like fit the theme of the level, which is cool.
Oh. It's aesthetic.
Yes. Gravity? Hello? It's a suggestion.
You're Super Sonic. There is no gravity.
True. You just kind of float.
Cannot affect you.
The Act 2 version of this song is one of those rare cases where, like, the composition doesn't really change that much. It's just some of the instrumentation. But it gets, like, so cool and dramatic that, like, I kind of don't care. Because the Act 2 version just sounds so neat. Oh, we made it!
Time.
Uh-oh! Never mind. Stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself. Come on! Also, DJ Spin Dash remastered the music for Sonic 3 Air, so like all the samples are a lot cleaner. So you can hear it go like, come on. Not enough speed.
You gotta go faster.
See, the Act 2 gets so much more, like, tense.
Just gotta up the tempo a little bit.
What's tricky is that there's a certain thing that, like, happens in the second half of the game that if you put Flying Battery in the Sonic 3 half, actually makes the second half harder.
Oh.
Because you have one less zone to, like, complete a certain objective. But I think we should be fine.
Ominous.
Whoops.
Oh. He's dead.
Do you know what happened to him, Lizzie?
No. Did he get crushed?
He got crushed.
Oh my god. That's his weakness.
He wasn't even super.
No. He was even more vulnerable.
Sonic is literally just the definition of a little guy.
He is a little. They're all little guys.
Actually, I don't want to go this way. I'm gonna go down. That
It's
other
like
way.
an escalator.
That other way's annoying. I gotta say, there's you know, the Sega Genesis was a popular console that a lot of companies developed for. Its sound chip wasn't like the most refined thing, you know. It could very easily just become like really kind of grating and twangy if you didn't know what you were doing with it. But Sega knew what they were doing with it. Like, unquestionably, they really kicked this thing to the max, right? When it came to sound quality, Super Nintendo was far, far superior to Genesis in terms of, like, what sounds it could produce, how, like, the quality of the instruments, all of that. But, you know, the Genesis absolutely has its own style, and the Sonic soundtracks are, bar none, some of the best stuff you could ever hear on a Genesis.
Just a bop.
Yep. Alright. I've got enough rings now. Where I think I could actually... I think I've done this once before. Where I've had enough rings here that I've actually taken this thing out before it's supposed to be taken out. Usually this thing just, like... You're supposed to avoid the laser as this thing gets smaller and smaller. But I think you can actually take it out early. But I clearly am not doing a good job at that, so... Alright, never mind then. Alright, so that's part 1! It's a 2-part boss.
Oh my god.
Now there's a platform that's slowly rising. But I'm supersonic, so I'm fast, so we got up here quickly. Let's see if we can get to the top with Tails before that thing even shows up.
Come on, Tails.
Alright, we made it. Sonic 3 Air makes it go a lot faster once you reach the top here. And then we've got Eggman dropping down.
Whoa.
If you jump in the middle, he shoots the flame, and then eventually he'll start spinning around, and that's your cue to hit him. but with Supersonic, you can just kind of stand here and nothing, and just, you know, just takes damage. Easy.
Cannot be touched.
Alright. And so now, in the original, you would get shot from the cannon, and then you would land on a snowboard on Ice Cap. But the original intended version of this level, you are about to see in a sec until I go and do the music stuff. Okay. So we made it. Let me exit to menu. Make sure that we made it to Ice Cap. Okay, we did. Let me show you the other tracks. So you heard what Carnival Night sounded like. This is what Carnival Night sounds like in base Sonic 1.
Oh. It's kind of endearing, though.
It's not bad.
I like it.
So this was composed by some members of Michael Jackson's composition team. And there's actually a reference to like one of his songs in it coming up in the second half. It's right here. That's literally taken directly from his song Jam. And then it resets after a brief pause.
I think it's cute.
Yeah. And then, yeah, there's the prototype. And then here, for comparison, here's what it sounds like in Sonic Origins. Right, like it's just completely busted. It's like you put the good version of the song in a blender. Anyway, Carnival Night 2, as originally intended, is literally just like the same track, but sometimes there's like not a melody line, and sometimes there's just no percussion. It's very boring. Act 2 in Origins actually comes off. It sounds better, but that's because it's a stronger song. You know. Okay. Flying Battery's the same. We're about to listen to the Michael Jackson version of Ice Cap. So this is the version that Sega Sound Team composed for the prototype. It's like a snow level.
It's fun.
It's a great song. It's very like Winter Wonderland vibe. Which is different from the kind of like icy and sleek version that you'll hear in a little bit. And then it resets. But Act 2 is basically the same thing with different instruments.
More layers to it.
Yeah. For some reason, in the Origins version, this version of the song is Acts 1 and 2. Except in Act 2, there's more percussion. That's the only difference. Which is really weird.
You can never go wrong with more percussion.
Okay. So that's the same. This is the level after Ice Cap, which we're going to listen to a different version of. But this was originally the final level of Sonic 3. This is the Michael Jackson version.
I like it.
It's really good.
You said this is the last zone?
This was the last zone of the original Sonic 3, like before, like when it got split in half.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, it doesn't feel like a final zone kind of song, but if the game got split in half, that's probably.
Yeah, and when you hear like when you hear the original launch-based zone music, it sounds even less like a final zone.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then I'll just show you a few little extras here. We hear Knuckles' theme, right? This is the Knuckles theme from the prototype when he was considered a much more villainous character.
Ooh. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Evil.
What else? There's a bunch of tracks from the multiplayer here. This is the title screen of Sonic and Knuckles, which we're not going to hear otherwise. They made like new jingles and stuff for Sonic and Knuckles.
I like that.
This ended up being used for Sonic 3 and Knuckles when you lock on both. It like replaces all the Sonic 3 music with the Sonic and Knuckles jingles.
Gotcha.
And then, yeah, that's basically okay. Let's listen to Ice Cap. If I could have all the women in the world, I would take this time to leave. The pressure's on and I'm not some kind of strong man, so take this thing from me. Don't give it a second thought. I can see you got better things to do, so just take your things and leave. Hard times, happiest days of my life. Hard times gone by. Hard times, happiest days of my life. Hard times gone by. Late at night when the darkness is around me, I'm drinking all alone. Nothing here but my medicine to guide me since I've been on my own. Alright, so this is a beloved song.
My very own private Max concert.
So, yeah, so this is Ice Cap. This was, that little snowboard you saw at the beginning. I changed it, so it was originally, like, the door of the flying battery zone that you drop from, that you use as the snowboard.
Oh.
And if you remember Sonic 2, there's the scene where he snowboards down the snowy mountain. That's taken from this. But they didn't have the Ice Cap Zone music. Because this song was composed by Brad Buxer, who was one of Michael Jackson's like closest song collaborators at this time. And Brad Buxer stole the track from an unused song from a band that he used to be the drummer of, a new wave band called the Jetsons, which disbanded in 1982. This was an unused song that they recorded but never released called Hard Times. and he used it as a level in Sonic music. So the lyrics I was singing earlier is that original song, "Hard Times" by the Jetsons.
Were there repercussions for that?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Oh my god.
But I'm sure it did not help the legal status of Sonic 3 as a soundtrack.
No.
People didn't realize this was the case until the Jetsons demo tracks were released for the first time publicly in like 2012. And it took a couple years for people to realize that this was Ice Cap Zone from Sonic 3.
Oh my god.
But it's such a good song! So I don't blame him.
They took it.
I mean, technically, you know, it's a song he was, you know, like, he was in that band, you know. It'd be like if it'd be like if Ringo Starr had composed for Sonic 3 and put an unused John Lennon track composed while they were still in the Beatles in Sonic 3.
Oh, I think there would be repercussions for that.
Anyway, common to the Michael Jackson style tracks. This is just the same song but with different percussion. But it's a vibe.
It is a vibe.
Do you see how it's like so different from like the Winter Wonderland of the prototype track, but they both fit the level perfectly?
Yes.
It's so cool.
I want Ringo Starr to write for Sonic.
Takeaway number 3.
That's my Sonic wish list.
But yeah, because of the legal status of the song, it will probably, unless they figure out all of those legal logistics, which, I mean, it's been like a decade, so I don't know if they actually ever will.
Yeah.
But this is a beloved Sonic song that will probably never be heard in a Sonic game ever again.
Yep. Oh my god.
Let's see if I can get up there.
That's like, there's a, I'm very sorry to do this. There's a Dragon Ball Z Kai track.
Go for it.
It's a song from Mortal Kombat.
Oh my gosh, really?
And it's just the same song with different instrumentation. And it'll never be used anywhere else ever again because of that.
It's like, do they think that we won't notice? I mean, at least with Hard Times, there was probably no thought that Brad Buxer would ever think that track would ever see the light of day. So he probably felt it was fair game.
Yeah, he just took the same song, and it's not different at all.
Anyway, that's Ice Cap.
He got through Act 2.
A very fan-loved zone. Now let's go to the original finale. Launch base zone. Let's go.
Whoa.
Bum, 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 ba, da, dum, bum. As you can tell, the Sega Sound Team version of this song is very different.
Mm-hmm.
It's still kind of got that like driving, thumping bass, but besides that, very different in tone. But I think it's neat.
It is neat.
And between this and Act 1, there's a lot more variety in the track than the Michael Jackson version, so I usually go with this one. But my feelings about the two are much more even. Boing. Now I'm fast supersonic. Supersonic with speed shoes.
Oh my god. Look at him go.
truly the fastest thing alive.
He's gotta go fast.
I mean, I know I really make this look fast and easy, but that's just because I've played these levels literally hundreds of times. Like, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is probably the Sonic game I've played the most in my life. So, I know these levels very, very well. And so, like, the pacing of, like, when to jump and all of that makes it look like you're just kind of going at the speed of light, but it's literally because I know the platforming and it can just know when I'm supposed to jump.
I'm watching a master at work.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
You could tell me that you're the best Sonic player in the world, and like I would have no way to refute that.
Except you could just look up Sonic 3 speedruns and see that I'm nowhere near as good. Hey, look, it's our boy.
There he
And he's
is.
committing arson.
No, that's illegal.
Knuckles, what are you doing?
How is he gonna get a job now?
Here's the last bonus stage.
Oh, this is intense to look at.
It's very much inspired by the both the casino level from Sonic 2 and the special stage from Sonic 1. You know, with the blocks and all that. The RNG is a lot less fair in Air and in Origins than I think in the original game. In the original game, it's so easy to get jackpots, and I've never gotten one playing Air. Ooh. Oh, so that's how they do it. I just got the Sonic and Knuckles level up, 1-up jingle, which means they must they must switch it over when you get to Zone 7, and Launch Base is Zone 7 now when it's supposed to be Zone 6. That's the difference. All right. I should also mention, I won't necessarily play it, but Knuckles has his own story in this game, which takes place after the events of the original game. You're basically playing through the entire game again, with just a few minor differences. There's like alternate paths that only Knuckles can get to, and you're fighting, instead of Eggman, you're fighting Egg Robo, which is this like badnik of Robotnik's that sort of goes off on its own and tries to take over Angel Island again, and then Knuckles has to stop him.
Gotcha.
And there's a few like interesting parts, like which I'll talk about later, but for the most part, it's basically just like Knuckles playing through the entire game. Count the number of key changes in Launch Base Zone Act 2 prototype version. It is all over the place in a good way. Like, it's really cool.
You get a modulation, and you get a modulation.
Hey, look. In the Sonic Origins game files, this sprite is labeled sus.
No.
Yes.
No. Leave my boy Sonic out of this.
It's okay. I've put up sus imposter like 5-minute timers for my students before. It's funny.
That's excellent. Are you like the cool teacher at your school?
Increasingly, I think that seems to be the case. I think, and I'm happy that it's turned out this way, but I think I'm finally at the point where like every student in the school like has either had me before or like knows who I am very well and like thinks I'm cool. And by cool,
That's
I mean
awesome.
And by cool, I mean, like, not actually thinks that, like, I'm a cool guy, but, like, I'm a teacher they don't have to worry about, and that they enjoy being taught by. You know?
Awesome.
Which is great. Alright, I'm not gonna go supersonic yet, though, because I don't have that many rings. So, I'm gonna fight this boss as intended. Which is to say, very easily. Bye, Tails.
Oh.
Let's ride in the egg robo.
He can fly.
Yeah, he'll catch up with us. Whoa.
No.
And there he
Oh my
goes.
God.
Not very effective after all. The death egg is about to launch.
That sounds bad.
Yeah. The death egg is relaunching after we took it down at the end of Sonic 2. So it seems like we gotta take it down again. What do you think?
I think so. Oh, Tails is back.
I've also taken out this boss very easily. But they added a final boss in the original version of Sonic 3, which I added into this, and was also added back into Origins. Big Arm. This is the final boss of Vanilla Sonic 3. I gotta be careful, I gotta watch my ring count.
Yeah, you're low.
Because Big Arm can actually grab Supersonic and, like, throw him around. He can't damage me, but, like... Yeah, he's tough. Alright, let's do this.
Whenever you
Yes!
just stand there and let things hit you as Supersonic,
It's fun.
Like that, it's like that, that Sword Art Online scene.
Alright, so this is the part where Sonic 3 ends, basically. With, like, the Death Egg sort of flying off and then exploding in the distance. But, deep into the code of Sonic 3, and re-implemented in Sonic Origins, and also in this version of Sonic 3 Air, Robotnik flies away as they watch the Death Egg fall. And then, in a riff on the title screen of Sonic and Knuckles, the Death Egg falls back onto Angel Island. And this is the beginning of Sonic and Knuckles.
But where's Knuckles?
There he is. And this is the Knuckles theme. So this is Knuckles' theme from Sonic and Knuckles now, instead of the original Sonic 3 theme. So now we have Sonic and Knuckles jingles going on.
Is Knuckles
Where did he come
become
from?
a good boy?
What is this?
Big ring.
And it's all rainbow. Whoa. The Chaos Emeralds are being taken from us. And instead, we have these 7 gray emeralds. If we step on one, we are sent to the Super Emerald special stages.
Oh.
Now we have to collect the 7 Super Emeralds. So we can't be Supersonic anymore until we collect the 7 Super Emeralds.
I see.
So this is the challenge of the second half of the game, which is exclusive to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, like the full story. Like, you can't do this in vanilla Sonic and Knuckles.
What happens if you touch the yellow spheres?
You bounce way ahead.
Oh.
So you could bounce right into, like, something dangerous.
I see.
So unless you're using them to get around, like, on purpose, it's best to avoid them. So here Sonic got a Super Emerald. These are Chaos Emeralds charged with the power of the Master Emerald, which you can see right there. But now we have to. Now we have like one less stage to collect all of the Super Emeralds in. I think Mushroom Hill is a really good stage. It's really cool. Also, all of the music from this point on is composed by the Sega sound team, not Michael Jackson, because they removed all of Michael Jackson's like jingles and stuff, starting with Sonic and Knuckles.
No more Michael Jackson.
Nope. Whoops. Well, almost. You'll see. Okay. So I should actually be a little bit smarter about what I'm doing here. Because there are actually a lot of big rings in this level. But I gotta make sure that I'm actually trying to, like, get to them. Instead of just trying to get to the end, you know? Okay, so that's the way to the end. I know that because I know this level well. So, now I go backwards, and I take slightly lower paths to try to find the spots with the big rings. I feel like there's one down there. And with Tails, I can, like, fly around and get to areas I wouldn't otherwise. Yes, here's one.
Big ring.
Alright, let's go with this one. Oh, this one. This one's so annoying. This is another one of those ones where it's like... It's so easy to get lost for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Want to take a yellow and see where it goes? Boing.
Yes. Whoa.
So I didn't even know I went back this way. Okay, let's try this one. Also, yeah, you could tell the special stages speed up after a few seconds at a time. And if you know the level, if you play a lot of Blue Spheres, you'll know exactly when in the music, like, the speed up's about to happen, so you can, like, take that into account when you're, like, moving and jumping.
Part of the strat.
Yeah. Okay. Sonic got a super emerald. Okay, that makes 2. Okay. I know there's a lot more in Mushroom Hill. I don't know how long I should take looking for it. I should also mention, you know how you can see, like, the milliseconds on the timer there?
Mm-hmm.
That's also a cosmetic change from Sonic, from the fan version. Usually that's only been there in Sonic CD and Sonic Mania, not in Sonic 3. But I just added it because it's cool. Alright, let's just go to the next act. So here's the prototype / Sonic and Knuckles mini boss music.
He's deforesting.
No, not any longer. Oh wow, thank you. Here's Knuckles.
The boy.
Whee! This is the Sonic and Knuckles, like, theme / invincibility theme.
It's so high energy.
And actually that really crappy Supersonic theme that Jun Senoi wrote for Sonic Origins is based on, like, that track, which is pretty cool, actually. Like,
Nice.
Melodically, it's very similar. I was like, that is neat. At least. Alright. There are special rings freaking everywhere here, Lois. So, let's go find some. This one has a pretty simple sequence to follow, like, internally. If you play it enough times, you remember, like, the optimal path. I keep second guessing myself, though. Just go straight. Thank you.
You did it!
Yes, here's another. I know there's at least, like, 2 more, probably, if not 3 more, in Mushroom Hill Act 2 that we can try to attempt.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's
Are you gonna go like extra supersonic?
I don't know.
Oh my god. When Shadow?
When does Shadow show up?
Yeah.
Shadow shows up in Sonic Adventure 2, which is in 2001. We are in 1990.
That's far away.
We are in 1994. But the good news is there's actually not that many like mainline Sonic games between then and now.
We passed the golden age.
Pretty much. Because they did try for a long time to put out like a proper like 3D Sonic game on the Sega Saturn, and people literally almost killed themselves trying to do it.
Oh,
and it didn't work, and so they canceled it.
Well, that's good.
And so we have like some, like, we have a 2.5D 3D Sonic, quote unquote 3D Sonic game instead, called 3D Blast, which we'll look at. This is so weird. Why is there just this little spot? I don't think I've ever noticed that.
You just hang out in there.
Just a little nook. And another one. Where are all these little nooks? Because I know there's like... I know there's another one somewhere close by. I think it's down here. No, this isn't it. Maybe it's back here? Tails, where are you? I want to fly.
Tails.
There you are. Oh, Tails is stuck.
Oh my god, Tails, no.
Bye. There we go. Alright, Tails, help me up. I might be retreading some areas, but I just want to make sure I have, like, I've found everything. Okay, there should be one up here, if I remember correctly. And then there's like one like way low down as well. I guess they put them on like all of the different paths in the level to try to be like, no matter what path you take, you're going to find one at least.
Gotcha.
That's my guess at least.
And you can find them all.
Yes. This is not it. Yeah. Okay. The trick is also to try to get through this without like running out of time, because each, I don't think I've ever mentioned necessarily, but each level in Classic Sonic, you have a 10-minute time limit before you get a time over.
Yeah, I know you mentioned in the carnival one, people would give like time overs because of the barrel.
Right. Okay. Oh, I remember this one. This one's weird. A lot of the special emerald ones look daunting, but actually, it's actually most of them are pretty simple paths to follow. And once you see it like done once, you can like pretty easily remember like what to do next. You might have some trouble trying to figure out where exactly the place you know you need to go is.
Got 3.
No! Oh no! Oh, that stinks.
Oh no!
Okay, so Sonic Origins has this wonderful thing where you can pay like a coin to redo any special stage. Which is cool, because like that replaces the lives system basically. Oh, whatever. Let's just keep going. Welcome to Green. Oh, you know what? The other lower one that you can get to is a Knuckles path. So I don't think I could get there if I really. I don't really think I can get up there. Speaking of getting up there, Tails.
Here he is.
Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna use Tails to fly over that way. And up a little bit. Okay, I can't go up that far. That's fine. Alright. It's okay, we're gonna get through this with a lot of these. Alright, let's try that again.
Take 2.
Just a sec. Okay. I mean, the fact that like this music wasn't originally written for this, like, kind of works, because it's like, it's one part like interesting and calming when it gets all like fast and frenetic, but it's also like fun and matches the energy. The same thing almost happened again. It like froze right at the moment where like I hit the button to switch. It like lagged.
Oh my god.
I was like, man, the same thing almost happened again.
That would have been tragic.
Would have been irritating. Okay. And we spent a long time in Mushroom Hill because there's a lot of special stages. These things used to go a lot slower in the main game, but they made them faster in air because they're annoying otherwise. This is cool. Check this out. Ooh.
Like
And-
pseudo 3D.
Yep. The Genesis can run some pretty crazy stuff, as you will see later when we get to Sonic 3D Blast.
Oh boy.
Okay, so in typical Sonic and Knuckles, this is where you jump on to Flying Battery. But instead, we're going to Sandopolis.
Oh.
So this is where you drop down from Flying Battery, basically.
We have journeyed quite a bit.
Unfortunately, this is the worst zone in the game.
Oh.
It's just kind of annoying. But I think I can actually, if I focus on just trying to get as many Chaos Emeralds as I can in Act 1, and then get through Act 2 as quickly as I can, I'll have plenty of time to do like lava reef stuff in like the next zone should be an easy way to get the Chaos Emeralds if I don't get them all here. Alright. So the trick to this one is to try to like find where to like hit these two to turn off this whole grid.
Gotcha.
That's kind of the trick to the strategy of this one. And if you get to a point where you're like, okay, I know this is what I want to turn off next, but I'm not there, I'm like, okay, where's... How you get to that is you can use that, or you can just, like, go around, right? That's how you get rid of it a lot more easily. Okay. Let's go this way. Because I think this is where I need to... Yeah, there we go. And then this should be it. Nice.
There it is.
Alrighty. 2 left. I know the location of at least one other one in this zone. And then I guess I'll probably just save the last for the zone after Sandopolis, and I'll just try to focus on getting through this one quickly. Unless I run into another one, which I might. Most of the emeralds, I think, on this one are on the middle path.
Gotcha. Look at him go!
Ah. Ugh.
I have a soft spot in my heart for desert-themed levels.
Mm-hmm. I kind of don't like them. Mostly because either because I associate them with, like, this zone, which I don't love, or, the sand zones in, like, the new Super Mario Brothers game, which I always found very annoying. But there is a really cool desert level in Sonic Mania, which I'm excited to get to in 2017. Hold on. Yeah. It takes a long time before, like, classic Sonic properly returns to, like, the strength of this style. And in fact, like, in a couple months, there's going to be a brand new classic Sonic game called Sonic Superstars, which you can play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy in. It will be basically a brand new 2D Sonic game in, like, this style. And by this style, I mean, like, this sort of, like, level design style. Which is really nice.
I feel like they just came out with Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah, Sonic Frontiers was last year?
Oh my god.
2 years ago? I don't even remember anymore. But yeah, no, Sonic Frontiers was recent, but they were also working on Sonic Frontiers for, like, 6 years.
Yeah.
Like, that game took a while to come out. Because before that, the last mainline Sonic game was Sonic Forces in 2017.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know. It had been a long time. Yeah, I'm excited to get to Frontiers, too. Frontiers is going to be so fun. And Forces will be fun because we'll get through it in, like, 2 hours and then never have to think about it ever again. Alright, this is a cool mini-boss. Check this out.
Oh, hello there. He can crush you.
Well, it won't be an insta-death crush. It'll be a... You take damage. Bye.
There he goes. Oh, I loved him.
If I had gotten all the Chaos Emeralds up to this point, I could have beaten him faster, but alas. Welcome to Sandopolis Act 2. This was my least favorite act in the game when I was a kid. It might still be, but I don't dislike it as much as I used to.
What's your least favorite act now?
I mean, I think it probably is still this one, but like, just because all the others are really good, you know?
Yeah. They can't all be bangers.
It's either like this, probably down there is like Marble Garden Acts 1 and 2. Not because they're bad, but just because they're comparatively less interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And the music isn't as good either. Like, it's fine, but it's no insert amazing song from the rest of the soundtrack here. That's the price you pay, I guess, for having, like, an entire wheelhouse of incredibly talented composers making a soundtrack, making a soundtrack very fast. That's another thing. Like, we know which tracks were written by Sega's sound team and which tracks were written by Michael Jackson's sound team, but in very few cases do we know who actually composed each individual track in the soundtrack.
Right.
A lot of that is still a mystery. And there's been, like, detective work done to, like, try to, like, piece it together from a variety of different sources and theories and so on. And I'm, like, very interested in that, like, from an observer point of view. Like, I would love if that mystery got, like, fully resolved one day, and we had full credits for, like, all of Sonic 3 and Knuckles' soundtrack. But I don't know. I don't think that'll happen on Sega's terms.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's all these ghosts that are trying to fight me now. Because I didn't hit the light switch.
You got little ears.
Now I hit the light switch. Alright, Tails, take us up. Never mind. You did your best. Don't get crushed, don't get crushed.
Oh my god.
There we go. I know, it's your favorite thing. I'm like activating your Pavlov over here. You're like, did you say crushed?
Crushed?
I'll be talking about my favorite kind of orange soda, and you'll be like, huh?
Sonic? Where is he? Is he safe?
Okay, and with that, we're about halfway through the level. This act could have been an email. I'm gonna be real.
Oh my god, the worst insult.
You know what could have been an email? Sonic Forces. It might as well have been.
Are we gonna play Sonic Boom?
I will attempt it. I have it. I have never played it. I am looking forward to putting in the effort.
I'm such a big fan of it.
Once we get to Sonic 06, I need to really look inside myself and like make a real decision. Like, do I seek to have this be the opportunity for me to actually try to beat Sonic 06 for the first time? Or do I, like, just play through the levels from Project 06 and then just watch all the cutscenes? Which would be a far more enjoyable experience.
That's how I played. That's how I experienced Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne, was I just watched all the cutscenes on YouTube.
I would have to, like, track it all down and, you know, all that. But, like, I think I might go the PO6 route. We will see. I definitely want to play at least a little bit of vanilla Sonic 06. Anyway, here's the boss. Cultural appropriation. The true final boss of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise.
Can we defeat it? The answer is no.
Alrighty. The good news is there's a crap ton of emerald rings in Lava Reef, which is the next zone. So we are gonna get that last emerald very quickly. This is like my favorite zone from Sonic and Knuckles. I really love Lava Reef. I love the music. I love the vibes. I used to play around in here because so Sonic games have this cool feature where like they left the debug codes in the game. So if you play a certain amount of like the correct like jingles on the sound test screen, you get to activate like the level select and the debug code, so you can just like go into levels and just play stuff like everywhere.
Oh, nice.
And just mess around with like the levels internally. It's like a key part of the experience of a classic Sonic game that you can just like mess around with it like that. So of course you can do it in Sonic Mania as well, which is awesome.
Whoa. Oh my god.
No. In fact, one of my earliest favorite YouTube series was called Tails Abuse.
Oh,
And it
no.
would be people like, it would be this YouTuber who would go into classic Sonic games and then use like the debug menus to like put Tails into like all these death traps.
Oh.
And then he did a spin-off series called Tails Abuse in Court, in which an imagined scenario in which Sonic kills Tails in Angel Island Zone in Sonic 3 means that, well, Robotnik gets accused of the murder, and then Phoenix Wright has to defend him in court. And it's an entire Ace Attorney fan thing. And that was the first time that I had heard of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney.
Oh my god, it all comes full circle.
I did not mean to do that. It's fine. No, seriously, it's fine. We do have a few more options, thankfully. Such as... Okay. Let's do this. But yes, my earliest knowledge of Ace Attorney... Well, not like knowledge, like all knowledge per se, but like my first proper exposure to Ace Attorney was Tails Abuse in Court.
That's so sad. Leave my boy alone.
So my first encounter with Phoenix Wright and Maya Fey was that they were defending Dr. Robotnik in court against Sonic, or yeah, against for the murder of Tails, and Sonic was the witness against him.
Did they succeed?
Yes.
That's good. Justice for Tails.
All right. There's one more after this. I'm so surprised that it's taken this long to like get all of these emeralds at this point. Usually I get them so much sooner. But thankfully I remember where all of the rainbow rings are in Lava Reef Act 1, so I just gotta not mess up one more time, and we'll be peachy keen, Jelly Bean. It's like there's another one. Alright, Tails. Take us home. Straight. Thank you. Yes! Alright.
There it is.
Sonic got all Super Emeralds. Now, this is, to this point, the first and only time they've ever done this. Because they realized as soon as they did this, they're like, we can never do this again. Because then it'll just become a thing. Then it'll just become the Super Saiyan power creep issue.
Hyper.
Check this out. Boom!
Whoa.
And he can do like air dashes in midair.
He's rainbow.
Yes. So the only time they've ever done a super transformation that's like more, that's like an upgraded, more powerful version of Supersonic. Technically, officially, Hypersonic isn't canon.
Oh.
Canonically, he's just Supersonic again. But this was also added in as like a bonus, like, thank you for players, right? For who got both games and, like, you know, went through the whole Super Emerald quest. Which is great, because Hypersonic was like my favorite to play with as a kid. Look how fast you can go. I'm just zipping and zopping all over the place. Call me a theater kid. Look at how I zip zap zop. Sorry. Alright, now Act 2 is really interesting. It's a totally different vibe.
Ooh.
Check this out. Oh, look, Eggman monitors. You know what happens when you hit one?
What?
You take damage.
Oh.
They're like barely in the games. Like, I don't know why there's just a couple random ones down there.
They're hanging out. Always watching.
You know, I do like the Sonic and Knuckles like jingles and stuff. I just have grown more, like, I like the Sonic 3 ones better, because growing up playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles, they only use the Sonic and Knuckles jingles. So they kind of got old after a while.
Yeah.
So by comparison, Sonic 3 Vanilla was a lot more interesting of a soundtrack. Because it was, like, unique. But they're both good. Basically, they had to replace, in both cases, like, the main theme of Sonic, which Masato Nakamura had wrote. The da-da-da-da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Sega doesn't actually own the rights to that.
Oh.
Masato Nakamura does. So, they can basically only use it with his permission. So that's why it didn't actually appear as the theme of a Sonic game until the 20th anniversary game Sonic Generations, where they used it for the title, which is cool. But as a result, that means that, like, every subsequent Sonic game now has its own unique, like, main theme and jingles and like title screen music and stuff. Like, there is no, like, one set Sonic theme, the way that there is, like, a Mario theme, for example, you know? So what used to be Sonic's main theme is no longer, like, used, like, at all, basically. Ooh, take a look at what's up there. It's the Death Egg.
Oh, I see.
Sorry,
I
what
was
were you
like,
gonna ask?
What are you talking about? I was like, does he just like not want it to be used?
Well, every time they use it, they have to pay him royalties. And he is a famous and popular pop star in Japan since the 90s. So I understand, you know, not wanting to use that all the time. But it is interesting, like, looking at the golden age of Sonic media from, like, 1992 and 1993. Because they just used that theme everywhere. Just, like, cavalier use. Like, it's the main theme of the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog show. They tried to use it as the main theme of Sonic Spinball, and then were forced to replace it. Look at all this lava.
It's very lava.
Yes. Oh, look, there he is. Oh no, we're gonna crash. You can't actually damage him. You have to make him take damage with his own spike balls.
Gotcha.
Also, in the main game, he takes 12 hits on this boss. It's crazy. So in Air, I changed it to just like the standard 8. So it doesn't take nearly as long. There we go. Grab the capsule. Alrighty. Now we're getting toward the end game here. Welcome to Hidden Palace Zone. Do you remember Hidden Palace? That was the cut zone from Sonic 2.
Oh.
And they reused the name here as the home of the Master Emerald. Actually, am I able to fly? Yes, I am. I don't think I got a good enough head start. Yeah. So this is a little mini level here, which is the home of the Master Emerald. You can fly up here. And then look at all this stuff here.
Oh my god.
Whee! Oh, there's the death egg still over there.
Vibin'.
Check this out. So here we have some kind of mural on the wall of this like big thing with giant hands holding the Master Emerald, and then what's that to the right?
It's him.
Some old Echidna prophecy.
Oh my god.
And now we're fighting Knuckles. They made him a lot harder in Sonic 3 Air. He's a complete pushover in the main game. Speaking of pushover. That just feels unfair. What's happening? Hey, we've been here.
Oh my god.
Oh no!
No.
Eggman's trying to take it away.
Betraying him.
Ah! Zapped him. Ah!
Oh my god, he's hurt.
You okay? Okay. Let's follow after him. Where's he going? Let's find out. Welcome to Sky Sanctuary Zone.
Ooh.
This is one of the most famous levels in Sonic and Knuckles. One of the most popular levels. It's just a single act zone. The Death Egg is launched again with the power of the Master Emerald.
God. That's not good.
Nope. Oh, but Knuckles is making a bridge for us. Are you coming with us? He says to go. Okay. Thank you, Knuckles. There's Egg Robo. That's one of the creatures that Knuckles will fight in Knuckles' story. You can spin.
Spinny.
Eggman's trying to stop us from getting onto the Death Egg this time. But we won't let him. Now this looks familiar. Do you remember this?
I do.
So unfortunately, this music, the boss theme from Sonic 1, doesn't play in the original game. It got added. They added that music in Air because it's really cool.
Boo.
And who was piloting that? I mean, obviously they wouldn't because it's Masato Nakamura's music. But you know, I always love when they, you know, bring in the old boss themes to fight the old bosses. You know. And who was piloting that Egg Robo? Or that,
It was Metal Sonic, right? Oh my god.
That's the one from Sonic 2, the Metropolis Zone. Yes.
Here he goes.
So this is Mecha Sonic Mark II, the successor to the Mecha Sonic. That's like the metal one that we fought in the Death Egg. At the end of Sonic 2. So what's awesome about the Sonic franchise is that there's Metal Sonic, there's Mecha Sonic Mark II, and there's Silver Sonic, and they are all completely different. There's also Rocket Metal and Metal Sonic Neos, and like a bunch of others, I'm sure. Metal Sonic Kai. There's a bunch. Metal Sonic from Sonic CD is the most popular and the one who appears the most in different forms. But Mecha Sonic is the one who appears in Sonic 2 and 3. Because Metal Sonic was created by the Japanese team that did Sonic CD, not the American team that did Sonics 2 and 3.
Gotcha.
It's silly. Oh. Okay.
It's necessary. We need all of them.
Alright. Oh, and here he goes. New and improved.
He's bigger.
He's better.
He's serious.
He's no match for Mr. Incredible. Wow, he actually took me out. Wouldn't you believe it? Anyway.
Dead.
Yes. So in Knuckles, Knuckles' story ends at Sky Sanctuary, where he defeats Egg Robo, and then this Mecha Sonic shows up again, taps into the power of the Master Emerald, and becomes like Super Mecha Sonic.
Ooh.
And it's all like yellow and glowy, and that's the final boss of Knuckles' route. Anyway, we made it through Sky Sanctuary. But everything's falling apart.
Oh no!
I love how much more, like, cinematic Sonic 3 is, you know? In all these ways. They've almost made it.
Whoa!
Welcome to Death Egg Zone. Finally, Death Egg Zone gets an actual level, unlike a hallway in Sonic 2.
You're inside the Death Star.
Literally. So this is the final main zone of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It's time to take out the Death Egg once and for all.
Get it out of here.
It's been bothering us for 2 games now. 3 games if you count Sonic 3 and Knuckles as 2 games. Oops. Whee! Oh, I want those ring boxes.
Oh my god.
Get me out of here. I'm getting those ring boxes. Gimme. So I can go hyper.
Hypersonic.
So I think the way this works is every time you jump and step on it, it like changes the direction that the conveyor belt is moving. The cool thing about this is you don't even have to ride that conveyor belt. You can just use your hyper powers to keep going. Oh, I love this room because you can get so many rings if you have like your electric powers. There's just rings everywhere. And the trick is you have to make all these turn red.
Oh.
There we go. Oh, it seems I have fallen into one of Dr. Eggman's diabolical traps.
Oh my god, his scheme!
So what's funny is, in the manual for Sonic 3, it literally says, sometimes you might find yourself trapped in a wall. If so, you have fallen into one of Dr. Robotnik's diabolical traps, and the only option that you have is to restart the game from your last save point.
That's actually really fun, though. That's a fun way to explain, like, bugs to kids.
I just think that's funny.
It's
So
funny.
I literally fell into one of Dr. Eggman's diabolical traps, wouldn't you know it?
You really did.
Alright, let's not do that again.
Yeah, don't fall for the same trick twice.
Yeah, who would do that? Not me. Clearly.
Never.
What I used to do, don't tell my professors, but during my during my Zoom school years, which was like my senior year of college, I would very often have the Zoom lecture up and like be listening and like occasionally would take notes if I found something interesting. But most of the time I would just be watching and listening, and then below the screen was my controller as I was playing Sonic 3 Air the whole time.
That's so valid.
Which is part of why I've played this game so many dang times. It's like basically every day I had Zoom school, I would just boot up Sonic 3 Air in the background and just mess around. Alright,
I
we made
liked
it.
Zoom school.
I did too. It was nice because you could just like wake up like 5 minutes before class started and just pour yourself a bowl of cereal and then just like listen in and like learn things.
It was great.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was not great for a lot of reasons, but there were a couple of reasons it was great.
Yes. I have a fondness for that time.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guess what the mechanic, the gimmick mechanic of Act 2 is?
Like gravity, like you're upside down, and so everything is everything backwards on the controller, or are they not?
No, thankfully it's not. I think they probably tried it and was like, there's no way, there's no way we can make this work.
Cowards.
So what you're saying is that we're defying gravity.
I am saying that. When Abby and I did that Wicked song for the cabaret, we had Navasha.
It was so awesome.
It was a lot of fun. But we had Navasha mix it, and the files that we gave her, Abby's file was, it said Elf Abby, and then my file was Lizzie. And I enjoyed that a whole lot.
That is so enjoyable. That fills my heart with glee.
Navasha's so iconic.
True. You haven't watched ahead to the next Table Talk pickup, have you?
I have not. I'm waiting for the
It's
I heard there's some editing going on.
Yes, there is some editing going on. But
I'm waiting to watch with the editing.
it is over a half hour of three of my favorite people in the world, Kate, Roof, and Nav, just absolutely going off.
I'm so excited for it.
Finally. Alright, let's do this. Okay. So here is the first part of the boss for Death Egg Zone. So this one is I don't think it makes any sense, like, unless you can kind of describe as, so there's like all these different like gravity shenanigans going on. When you change the gravity, you like make this like move in different ways, and you can be patient and try to strategize it out to make it so it's like you flip the gravity so that the spikes are on it. But I'm impatient, so I'll just like keep spin dashing into it over and over, and then like keep going back and forth, and then it's doing damage, so like something's happening, correct?
Whatever works.
Yes. Alright, I'm about to run out of rings here, so...
Oh no!
There we go. Literally one ring left heading into
God.
heading into the next phase. All right, here we go.
Stressful. Get him.
Here's the big arms music coming back. The final boss music. And if you did not get all
God.
if you did not get all of the Chaos Emeralds or all the Super Emeralds, this would be the final boss.
Oh.
You can see it's like the Death Egg robot, kind of, from Sonic 2, but it's a little different now. Phase 1.
Here it goes.
Phase 2.
Sideways.
Oh, shoot. No! Alright,
Oh,
now
no.
this is going to be tough. This boss is tough to fight with no rings, but I'm going to have to be patient.
You can do it.
Alrighty. So the trick is to hit him on the nose so that this thing opens up. But then not get hit by the beam. Wait for the fire to go. Then hit on the nose again. And go for it. Ah!
Oh.
The timing on this is so... the timing on avoiding that beam is tough. It's okay, I have 24 lives, but like... Also, Tails being here kind of throws me off a little bit. Like, with Tails here, it lands more hits. But it also, like, makes it harder to judge what he's gonna do next. Because he's reacting to both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So we're taking out the fingers quick. Ugh. Okay. Wait for the fire. Nose. Okay, that was tough. That was close. No! Too early! Oh, man.
You can do it.
I also think it's like the timing is slightly different in Air and in Origin, so that's probably throwing me off a bit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it can't be because I'm terrible at this game. That can't be it.
No.
Speaking of being terrible at this game, I don't even know what happened there. The problem is that I have to be patient. I don't like being patient. I'm Sonic. I go fast.
He goes fast.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Okay. It's a later jump than I think it is.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes.
Phase 3. I have also died on this. So, it's not a cakewalk necessarily. Phase 3 is you have to land hits on him while trying to escape this. And every time you land hits on him, you lose speed a little bit.
Mm.
So you have to be patient. But Tails is also getting in some for me.
Ooh.
Okay. But he's gonna keep going, because we got all the Chaos Emeralds, so we gotta follow him.
Oh my
Welcome
God.
to the Doomsday Zone. The first in a long-standing Sonic tradition of final battles in space as our super form.
In space.
This would get picked up by games like Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic 06, Sonic Unleashed, just to name a few. I thought this is how the second Sonic movie was gonna end, with this like battle between the Death Egg robot and Super Sonic in space, because like that's just such a tradition. But I think that's how instead the third movie's gonna end, because they're very I imagine they're gonna follow they're gonna adapt Sonic Adventure 2. And Sonic Adventure 2 probably has the most like famous example of the Super Sonic battle in space as the final boss.
I'm so excited. I love the Sonic movies.
Where they play and if they don't play Live and Learn, like there was no point in making that film franchise. Like they've already dropped the ball twice on using Sonic music in the Sonic movies in like a meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
They really they've really dropped the ball on that. So in case that wasn't clear earlier, I was guiding the missiles to hit the head of the Death Egg robot that was sort of inside that ship that was flying away. And so now I'm attacking the robot itself. I'm almost out of rings.
Oh my God.
Got it. Time. And this music, this is the credits theme from Sonic 3, originally composed by Michael Jackson, and became the bass line for Michael Jackson's song Stranger in Moscow.
They did it.
In Origins, they replace it with the prototype version of the Sonic 3 credits theme, which is really cool. And in the original game, they just had the Sky Sanctuary music again, which is fine, but not like, you know, it's nice having this new track.
Yeah, it's Michael Jackson.
Yes. Hey, and
there it goes.
It's returning now that the Master Emerald has been returned to its proper location on Angel Island.
Is it supposed to float?
Yes, Angel Island will return back into the sky.
Okay.
Yay! One more thing. This credits theme originally was only the Sonic and Knuckles music, because this was the credits of Sonic and Knuckles. But in one of the prototype tracks, in one of the prototypes that got leaked, they expanded the medley to include songs from Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. So this is based on that.
Nice. You did it! You saved the world.
Yuji Naka, he's in prison now.
Oh. Oh no.
For insider trading.
That's so funny.
The creator of Sonic and Balan Wonderworld.
Oh,
His entire
so
existence
funny.
is a meme at this point. It's really funny, yeah.
How long is he in prison?
I don't know. It's like probably like 5 or 10 years. I don't know. This version of the credits suite. See, look, these are all the Michael Jackson composers, and then also Howard Drawson, who did the stuff, additional music for Sonic and Knuckles. This is Sega's sound team, who actually composed the majority of the soundtrack, but a lot of them are under pseudonyms.
Gotcha.
Here's Ice Cap.
He's gonna be in prison for 2.5 years.
Gotcha.
He'll get 6 years of probation. That's insane.
It's okay, he hasn't been involved in Sonic for like 15 years. These are other composers who worked on the game, but were not credited, but belong to those companies. This medley was expanded slightly to include the stuff for Angel Island Revisited. So DJ Spin Dash added a little bit here of Sky Sanctuary in reference to the original game, which had a long Sky Sanctuary section in the credits.
Nice. There he is. Kim.
And then I got the version that has the Sonic 3 jingle at the end instead of the Sonic and Knuckles jingle. Yay! We did it! Sonic the Hedgehog 3. As originally intended.
Excellent.
And he gives us a quick thumbs up before fading to the title screen.
Thanks, Sega.
Thanks for making like the best Sonic game ever. Let's see. Let me think. What's the other one I wanted to show you? Oh, it's so. Okay. This is what the prototype credits music sounds like. So in Sonic Origins, this is the song that they use for that ending cut scene before the credits.
Mm-hmm. It's fun.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Oh, it's happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bopping.
But yeah. And then there's also this theme, which was an unused theme that people thought was like a supersonic theme that went unused, but was actually, I think, at some point like a competition, like menu, like victory theme.
That would be a fun super theme.
Yeah. People have used it as such before.
It does have like victory vibes.
Yeah, this part is the best though.
Ooh.
Really cool.
I do enjoy it.
I think if this is, yeah, okay. So what I'm gonna play for you next is this is the super theme that Jun Senoi wrote for Sonic Origins for the version of Sonic 3 in there. See if this sounds like anything else that you've heard in this soundtrack before.
Oh boy.
It's a really good composition, and it's like it's riffing on the Sonic and Knuckles theme, but these are not the Sonic 3 instruments, my dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's okay. I think that's basically it for Sonic 3. Woohoo! We did it!
Ooh.
So, this was the big Sonic event of 1994. This is the ending of the 5-part Sonic trilogy. A classic Sonic trilogy, I should say. From this point on, technically the next mainline, like, accepted mainline Sonic game is Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast, which is the first 3D, like, true 3D Sonic game. And I'm very excited to get to Adventure. But we've still got 4 more years to get through, basically, until we get to then. Next time, because it's a bit late and I need to do stuff for work tomorrow. Next time, we are going to play the fan remake of the sequel to Sonic Chaos, which is Sonic Triple Trouble. And this fan remake is called Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit because it's basically turning that Game Gear game, that 8-bit game, into a Genesis-style sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Oh.
So it basically will pick up right where this leaves off, which I think is really cool.
I need more Knuckles.
Yes. Knuckles is in Sonic Triple Trouble. And Knuckles and Mighty will be in the game immediately following that, because after Triple Trouble, we will play Knuckles Chaotix for the 32X.
Ooh.
So it's a Knuckles spin-off game.
And it's got Mighty?
And it's got Mighty.
That's so exciting.
Yes. So, yeah.
There's so much more Sonic.
Yes, there is so much more Sonic to be played. Yeah, so it's going to be Triple Trouble 16-bit, Knuckles Chaotix. That will move us into 1995. And then, let me double check what's going to follow that is... Yes, what's going to follow that is Sonic's first attempts to move into 3D. Which will include Sonic's riff on Donkey Kong Country for the Game Gear, which is Sonic Blast.
Oh.
And then there will be Sonic 3D Blast, which released on both Genesis and Sega Saturn with 2 different soundtracks.
How? How?
Mm-hmm. We will get to that story when we get to it. And then we will delve in a little bit into the rest of the Saturn era Sonic games, which is Sonic Jam, Sonic the Fighters, and my personal beloved Sonic R.
R?
Sonic R.
Does it stand for something?
The R stands for racing.
That's very exciting.
Supersonic racing, you might say.
Or Supersonic Racing.
You'll get to hear all of the amazing tracks from Sonic R.
That's so exciting.
And then we will finally move in to the modern Sonic era with Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast.
contemporary Sonic.
Yes. Okay, so... Yeah. So next time we'll do Triple Trouble 16-bit, and then I'll probably also see if I can do Knuckles Chaotix.
Yay!
And then we'll do Sonic Blast, Sonic 3D Blast, and then the rest of the Sonic on Sega Saturn, etc. And then we'll move into Sonic Adventure. And then Sonic Adventure 2, which is Shadow's first appearance. Yes, thanks for...
him!
Yes, thanks for joining me, Lizzie.
Of course.
This was so much
I'm
fun.
glad that I could join.
Yippee.
I'm learning so much about Sonic.
That is everything to me.
Yay!
Yay. Okay.
Alrighty.
So until next time, take care, y'all.
We'll see you then.